Welcome to Improv Breakdown. My guest today is a Korean improviser, lives in Seoul, South Korea, studied all over the US and Canada. In 2012, she quit her job to do more improv. In 2014, she founded the very first Korean improv school and created the Korean improv team Imfrog. Featured guest on Let's Hear It, the Elise and John Show, and the Improv Chronicle podcast. I'm very excited to welcome Helena Jang. Thank you so much for being on the Improv Breakdown.
Hi everyone. Oh my God. Thank you for having me.
Oh, no, it's my pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you. So, Helena, at one point you weren't an improviser and then you became one. Could you tell me the story?
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know in the world there is improv. I didn't know before I started. I started improv 10 years ago
Wow.
and I before in my life and I guess most of Korean people doesn't know about improv at all.
Hmm.
And one of my friends introduced me improv. That one was a foreigner, so I could start improv with the second language, which is English.
Hmm.
So that's how I started, and right away I fell in love with improv. So I quit a job, and I wanted to do more and study more. So I asked my friends all over the world, and they strongly recommended Chicago.
Sure. Yeah.
So that's how I started. Yeah.
And you took like a pretty epic trip and studied a bunch of different places, right?
Yes. So first, I went to Canada, Calgary, to take a Keith Johnston workshop
Yeah.
because I heard Keith Johnston is quite old, so I was not sure how longer he can do the workshop because at that time as well he was like a stand up like but and also right sit down wasn't like this, but his eyes was sparkling, like he was always excited, like yeah. So that was my very first one, international and first improv school ever I've done. So I did intensive 10 days with Keith Johnston, and I went to Chicago to take IO 5 weeks intensive. It
Yeah.
was 2014. Yeah. After that, I traveled to see improv theaters and improv shows, Boston, New York, San Francisco, and Austin, Texas. It was my first improv trip, and I tasted all different kinds of cities, improv. So that was my first one. And 2016, again, I went to Chicago and I took 2 weeks advanced uh, course at IO, and I took advanced improv one, annoyance, and intensives at annoyance, second city, long form immersion, and comedy sports. And I did under the gun theater at that time. Kevin Mullaney was there, and 2019, I've been Minneapolis and LA.
Wow.
Minneapolis huge theater
Yeah.
and LA packed theater.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. I think you've done more in America than most American improvisers I know. Well done. Well done.
Yeah, but that was uh, another point of view. It's kind of sad because in Korea I don't have anything to do with the improv here because none improv school and none things. So if I want to learn or if I want to see the show, I have to go US.
Yeah.
So it was the only option for me.
Yeah. Well, good on you for capitalizing on it. So, are you basically like are you the person who has introduced improv to Korea?
So there will be controversial because I'm the one who started Korean improv, yes. But before me, there were already improv teams, but that was English one, and it's based on expat group. So mostly English teachers came from US and and anyway Western. They came to Korea to teach English here, and they needed a hobby. So they started, yeah, they started the improv team first. That's how I started, and I joined there at the first time, 2011, 12. And then I I went to Chicago and everywhere. And then 2014, I started a Korean team. And also I started to teach improv.
And what has Korea's improv scene been like since that happened? Like, how's it evolved?
What does it meaning? So the Korean improv style or
Yeah, well, sure, I'd be happy to listen to that. But I just like, basically from when you started it, like, what's happened since? Like, how's it grown?
oh, I see. That was really tough because when I say improv Korean, they say, "What? No script? No way! No!" And they were afraid about improv. Even they are afraid about acting. But without the script, it's more scary for them. So it was really hard to promote. And the other thing, very difficult one was hard to explain what is improv.
Yeah.
So I have to say, improv is spontaneous acting. So it took a very long time to promote. And still, I think still it's a very new one in Korea. I've done these things like 6, 7 years already here, but still small. But I'm doing very steady, keep doing it. So I've done so many personal classes, and also I've done business corporate improv workshop with the big name of companies like Samsung, LG,
Oh, wow.
like that. Yeah.
That's great. So basically, if I'm understanding you right, like improv is happening in Korea because you just keep going.
Yeah, yeah, oh, yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah, right,
Oh,
yeah.
Helena, that's amazing. I was lucky. I improv was in the town I grew up in, right? So like I never had to blaze any trails. I mean, it's the amount of respect that I gotta have for how much you could like. No, I'm gonna keep. This will happen. That's pretty impressive.
I think it's a very hard and difficult, but at the same time, I have my team member and they helped me a lot,
Great.
really a lot. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. So, when you first started learning improv about 10 years ago, can you think of an example of a lesson that you learned then that has stuck with you and you still believe wholeheartedly to this day?
Of course, of course. Oh, I still remember that day. We rented a space, and my very first time the experience with Jessica Coyle, who is improviser in New York right now, but she was in Korea at that time to teach English here, and she was my very first improv instructor. And I still remember the scent and the space and the people there. And Jessica Cole taught us, what are you doing? And the 3 lines and hitchhikers. That was amazing. And that blew my mind. Wow, this is exists in the world? wow, I should do this. And right away after that class, I asked to her, how can I do improv in Korea? And she introduced, oh, there is an English team, so you can do that. So I start in SCI, Seoul City Improv.
Wow. Wow. Is there anything that you've learned from anyone, instructor or whatever, along the way that you just didn't you don't ascribe to that belief anymore? Like you learned it, but it didn't really work out for you, and so you let it go. Any examples of that?
Ooh, ooh. So some, so is that, I'm not sure. I have to clarify. So is it two questions? One is I learned from someone and I love it, and one I learned but I don't use it, let it go.
Yeah, yeah. So what I'm asking is, like, have you learned something that you were taught that hasn't actually like that you, as a performer, you're like that doesn't actually work for me.
Hmm, I don't know. Ooh, that's tough. That's very tough.
It's fair. It's
Because
fair.
yeah, because I love all of the instructors and I learned from them. Even single one, I learned so many things.
Yeah.
Um, it's really tough. Because I think I could be a very multi player because of diversity of instructors I learned.
Yeah.
But
That's fantastic. It sounds like you've had just a
hmm.
lot of really good, because not all instructors are good. It sounds like you've really gotten a lot of great
Oh,
ones.
actually, I have one thing, very recent one. It was an online class, but if I mention it, I will give it to audience to the
No, no, yeah,
biased opinions. So,
yeah.
yeah. So, can I do? I can say off the record, but it
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah, no
work.
worries, no worries. We don't need to.
Mm,
No
I'm
need for
sorry.
hard hitting questions. So
Okay, I'm sorry.
no, you're great. You're great. So, what is one belief about improv that you think, in as far as how you improvise, that stands as like your number one? Like everything is underneath this. What's your top priority lesson about improv that you ascribe to?
Oh, having fun. Having fun.
I love it.
Wow. Wow. That's a really big thing.
Yeah.
When I started improv, so I will say beginner improviser at the
Yeah.
time, I was focused on, oh, did I did did I do very good one or success, or if I feel like I'm fair, or if I feel like that was not a good show, I used to blame my partner or team member. Oh, they didn't yes and oh they didn't care about me, something like that. And when I went to Chicago 2016, I met Susan Messing, and she mentioned it's a very famous one, I think, a famous quote. If you are not having fun, you are the asshole.
Yes.
When I heard that, I was ding. Oh my God, that's my story. Oh my God, I was the asshole. So I feel like, yeah. Oh my God, yes. After then, my priority and my standard of my show, success or fail, it's fun. Did
Yeah.
I have fun? Success. No
Nice.
fun? Fail. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I remember learning that, hearing that Susan Messing quote years ago, and blowing my mind just as much as what you're talking about. I think she's
Yeah.
blown millions of minds over the
I
years.
think so. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic
Yeah.
teacher.
Yeah.
So, so fun, absolutely, I love that. As far as like how you perform, over 10-year time, How have you seen your performance change as far as like how you
Mhm.
interact with people, how you deal with audiences, that kind of stuff?
Mhm. Oh, yeah. Since I started with the English group, it's my second language, so I had many problems with the communication, and also even sometimes I couldn't understand the suggestion because if it is American or Western background culture, I couldn't understand. At that time, I was very hesitate, and I couldn't do board choice. So that was my very beginning of improv. And first, I remember I started the IO 5 weeks intensive, and IO is very heart grounded thing. So I preferred grounded heartful things,
Yeah.
and that was it became my improv style at the first time about 2014-15, and 2016 I took annoyance theater intensive, and that was also blown my mind because their style was very crazy wacky, and
Yeah.
and before annoyance, I never done that crazy thing. So I was like in the shell.
Mhm.
So I was very hesitate, and I didn't know what to do. So I still remember one day I had a midnight peer in the class, and they wanted some crazy things, but I was very shy, and I preferred the grounded one, and I didn't know what to do. So I just go off stage, and I just shouted, and everybody, including Ming Peer, they clapped. They clapped. So yeah, and after that intensive course, I feel like my spectrum is more wide. So I extended my spectrum of my improv style.
Uh,
So that changed.
I love that.
And
So you started out kind of always doing one kind of scene, and now you can easily go back and forth between the two. They're both in your tool belt.
yeah, it's my in my toolbox. Yes.
Yeah. Ah,
Yeah.
that's great. That's great. Is do you notice a difference in either the characters you play or the scenarios that you play when you play in English versus when you play in Korean?
Of course. Of course. I'm totally different character, different performer when I'm speaking Korean, when I'm speaking English. It's totally different.
And what could you describe kind of what the differences are?
Uh, Very hard, but I will try. Yeah, for the Korean, I can do the Korean dialect thing. So I have more various characters,
Okay.
and also we have our own culture thing,
Sure.
background thing. So I have more characters. But also when I'm doing English, it's more, I have more freedom. I can be anything because I have nothing in my mind and nothing in my background.
Yeah.
I'm not sure you understand because can you understand?
I think I do. Yeah. I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't speak a second language, but like, I think I can get my head around like, oh, this is almost. It's almost like starting from square one. You know, in a way, like you don't have the
Yes.
baggage.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. So when I'm doing English, I'm more enthusiastic, more Western gesture, and because Koreans are not really doing more many gestures or many intonation is not really big things.
Oh, really?
So yeah, yes, yes.
Wow.
I think it's an Asian culture, I think.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So when I'm teaching improv, always I mention this. okay, we are communicate, but our Asian traditional, our Korean traditional communicate way is just talking, talking. So we cannot get many information. We cannot. But Western people do it. Yeah, blah 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 blah. Yeah. Yeah. So
That's exactly what we sound like.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. So that's why we can get yeah.
You nailed it.
That's
That was a
why,
perfect
yeah.
impression of all Americans.
Yeah. That's why we can get more information.
Yeah.
So
Oh my
I
God.
explained that. Yeah.
That is so great. Yeah, because I love learning about other cultures, and I know that I'm at such a disadvantage because I speak other languages, but like just this idea that like we even just talk to each other differently, and of course that's
Mm,
going to inform how you improvise differently.
yeah,
Wow, 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 wow,
exactly.
wow. And so when you started learning improv, you know you were learning from other people, but like you, how quickly did you start teaching people?
Hmm. I I think I had a little talent for that already because
Okay.
I did facilitating things a
Mhm.
lot. So facilitation and teaching things was not very hard for me.
Yeah.
So I've been in Chicago and I learned everything and I had notes, several books of notes, and then I made curriculum because Korean people really love curriculum
Mm.
and even they ask textbooks. So I saw you. I saw you. What? Textbook?
That took me a second. An improv textbook. I love.
So I know I've been so many. I take so many classes, but nobody gave us textbook or even single handout. So, but Korean people every time when I teaching, they ask, "Oh, do you have any textbook or even do you have any handout?" So I prepare the handout with
Nice.
just the names of exercise. So
That is so cool.
so yeah, so I made three levels. So beginner level is mostly short form, but every week, every session has a theme like storytelling, mind, emotion, things like that. And
Yeah.
then intermediate is basically long form like montage and Harold and Armando.
Mhm.
And then the advanced one is more various long form such as beer shack mice
Sure. Sure.
and shotgun and detours and everything.
That's
Yeah.
great. Oh
Mm.
man, improv textbooks. And I just thought I'd heard everything, Helena, and then you threw one at me, and it's like, okay, that's new. I gotta remember that one.
Actually, I'm working on to writing down to make an improv textbook in Korea.
Good for you. You should. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah,
Who better than you? I mean, you put in the work.
yeah.
I love it. Okay, so is there a character? Obviously, I'm actually no. I'll open it. I don't care either way, whether I understand or not, whether it's in Korean or English. Is there a character voice or a character you like to play that just like cracks you up?
Oh my god, oh my god. I have a really, I love this character so much. So that was from UTC team. It's the long form improv team name.
Mhm.
It's an online team. It's not really team. It's like jam and team. So at that time, I still remember. It's just 1 or 2 months ago.
Mhm.
I did Lisa. Lisa. So Lisa is like this. You say anything, I will respond.
Oh, it's a beautiful day
Hey,
out.
it's me, Lisa. It's a beautiful day. It's me, Lisa.
Oh, you want to have some lunch, Lisa?
Sure. Hey, you don't get it. It's me, Lisa.
I love it.
Yeah, whatever you say, I'm just go with it. It's me, Lisa.
But
And
it's
bunch
a
of
me.
people, yes.
Oh, I like
Oh,
Lisa. I'm so glad I
yeah.
asked. Lisa is great.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it. It's me, Lisa. Excellent. Okay, so uh, we can't know the future, but what do you think is gonna happen? With improv, just in general or specifically in Korea going forward.
I think right now mostly we are doing online improv and vaccinated the situation is getting better, so we will go to offline and everyone is very excited about that. Also, I'm very excited, and my students, Korean students, they who never done offline one, they are very excited. But at the same time, I'm a little scary about because during the pandemic, very luckily, I didn't have to travel to US, so I could save money and I can learn from my house. So that was a very attractive point for the pandemic for
Sure.
me. Yeah, but I feel like, oh, if it is gone, where I can take, I have to go again. I love to go and I love to meet everyone, but
Yeah.
still, yeah. But also at the same time, I really want to visit and meet everyone, like Teddy and everyone in the world. And I feel like in Korea, especially improv is very slow, but I will keep doing it and I will make improv coaches more. And then maybe I hope, really hope, our improv is more well known and bigger and bigger. That's my goal in Korea.
I have all the faith in the world in you. For what it's worth, online improv instruction, I don't think is going away. I think even when the pandemic,
Mm,
because I've been teaching exclusively online since pandemic, and
mm.
I love it. I'm just going to keep it going. I was just literally talking to, Michelle Gilliam in Milwaukee.
Yeah, yeah,
She's going to keep her online classes going. I know a lot of
yeah.
teachers, so like,
Mm.
with people will still be able to just turn on their computers and learn from
Yes,
around the world. I
yes,
think that's amazing.
correct. Yes, that's amazing. Yeah.
So okay, and this is in your dream for the future of improv in Korea. Is there going to be some kind of a festival that at some point that we can all come to
Oh,
Korea and teach and play and that kind of stuff?
yeah. I've been dreamed about improv festivals so long time because in Asia we have already improv international festival in Shanghai, Manila, Singapore.
Okay.
Especially Manila one is really big. Like 100 more than 100 people come and there are so big festival. And every time I go there, every time they ask me when is Korean festival and I've been saying, yes, it is coming for 6 years. I've been saying.
I'm Lisa.
It's coming, but I really want to do that, and sometimes I accommodate improvisers from America, and I organize workshops, and I'm doing tour guide for them. Like Casey Biller already came to Korea 3 times from Texas, Austin, and Eddie Mujica and Bex uh, they came to visit from Chicago and LA,
Yeah.
and I had so many guests, and I did one by one, but it was not the festival. So I will combine all of them, and that will be a festival. And our team, and also very many kinds of Asian teams I can invite. So yes, I really want to do that, and right away it's coming.
Excellent. Well, I can
Yeah,
tell you, my team will definitely apply whenever it's there. We'd love to go to Korea.
yeah.
Yeah. Helena, this has been amazing. Where, if people want more of you, where can you send them? What are you plugging? What do you got?
Uh, uh, so everyone can have a look. My website is helenajang.com. It's double L, helenajang.com. There are all of my information there.
Nice.
And for the shows, tonight, it's your night, right?
Yeah, but this podcast won't come out till like a month from now. So
Ah, a month. Okay,
yeah,
that's
so
it.
so the show you're doing tonight is a month away from anyone listening.
Right. I forgot. Yes,
No, it's
yes.
fine. Yeah, I get it. That's cool. Well, we'll definitely send people to your website. Absolutely. And we are looking forward to the festival and all the Korean
Oh,
improv that's going to happen. That's awesome.
thank you so much, Rich Baker. Thank you for having me. And this conversation actually really helped me a lot. I was saying my stories a lot, but I feel like your question was perfect. So
Aw.
I had to look back, and also I already committed two things: improv textbook and improv festival in Korea.
Yeah.
So I have action item as well.
Yep. Yeah, we got it's on the record. You got to do it now.
So I feel like you are the amazing host.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being on the breakdown.